VeeFriends. Where am I? That's me. Hello. This is the VeeFriends Comics stream. I don't have any music playing today. Let me try to go vertically. I think I'm actually, it's actually. It's me. I'm DJ Coffman, cartoonist here at VeeFriends, working on the strip today, live. I'm live on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're live everywhere. Got my coffee, got my pencil. You know, the one thing I didn't do. All right, maybe you can hear me now. If not, well then. TikTok can hear me, and Instagram probably can hear me. Please pin the topic. He's steady talking to. Please pin the topic. All right, good. Sweet. I don't know if that music's a little too loud. Let me turn that down. Hey, thanks for checking in, getting set up with me. I'm DJ Coffman. I'm going to work on VeeFriends comic strip here. If you're not familiar with VeeFriends, let's just take a look at today's comic that's coming out. This is the daily comic strip for VeeFriends. You can go to VeeFriends.com. Come on now. VeeFriends.com. We've got the collectible trading card game, new children's book coming out from Gary. VeeFriends was created by Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. You may know him on the internet as Gary V. And over 280 characters with awesome traits such as Profound Possum and Dedicated Dragonfly, Outgoing Octopus, Zealous Zombie. There's over 280. I'm not going to list them all. You can check those out in alphabetical order on the website here. all characters. And then also there's a comic corner up here, but if you want to click the individual character profile, they have a little comic corner that sucks in all the comics that they're in so far, if I've tagged them properly. Some of them I've messed up, I think, but we're only human. Cool. This is the first time I'm streaming vertically, and I've kind of figured that out through OBS. So I'm excited today. I'll try to stop and check the comments as I go across all of our channels here. Appreciate you watching, hanging out for a little bit. Good morning, Corso, in the chats. Up in New York City. Up in the NYC. Thanks for joining. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm on all of the channels here real quick. Just real quick. Also, I'm double checking that I'm not on the wrong channels because I did that last week, and All right, cool. I think we're all set. So yeah, that's the VeeFriends site. I've got my mini here today. I usually go with the Humble Hedgehog just because it's what I feel. I like the little Humble Hedgehog, man. Comic Corner up in the website there. By the way, if you want to check out all the comics, here we've got all the comic archive on the website. All the comics, over, 100 plus comic strips on the website. So let's get in and look at today's comic strip. We got YOLO Yak with a sus report. Oh, what's my bit rate? What's up? Fair. Strange. Okay. He's got a little report. He's counting this man has eaten PB&J 37 times in a row. And he's like, hey, it's my favorite. Why are you keeping score? Also want to point out the little juice box down here as well. And then basically YOLO Yak's saying to him, well, if you want to eat that for the rest of your life, YOLO, but why not mix it up with some oysters and anchovies? And we got Amiable Anchovy and Observant Oyster. They are also VeeFriends. First time in the comic strip. And they're basically saying, like, hey, maybe let's not go with that. Yeah, how about something a little less us? And he's like, my bad. So YOLO Yak gives him a falafel wrap with some tangy tahini sauce. He's trying something new because life is too short for just PB&J. And then we got our homies here saying that was close. And the juice box is just piecing out. I just added this juice box at the very end. Sometimes when I'm drawing for a long time, I'm like, I'm going to put something else interesting in here. I'm just having some fun with it. The juice is loose up there. So, all right. Check the chats. I'll look up and check the chat occasionally. I'm going to get into drawing here for, I'll be live for a couple hours. Let's see. Make sure I'm checking my messages. It back. Thanks, Carrie. Carrie's listening in. Thanks, Carrie. Yeah, I can't. The audio drops out occasionally on Instagram or something, but I think it's pretty decent. It's the first day that I've actually got the program that I'm working on, OBS, to work correct. And I've got a couple different views that I can do. Let me check those out real quick. This view, that view, when I'm doing some detail work, we'll get in there. We're going to stick with So audio on. All right, I'm getting there, guys. Bear with me. Okay, I think all the audio's on now, right? Please chat that you can hear me now. Okay, I'm gonna ask the team. Can you guys check all the channels now? I had to add my mic into all the scenes I have here on OBS. Thanks. All right, cool. All right, now you can hear me. Jeez, so I've been sitting here talking to myself. Well, TikTok could hear me. All right, we're back now. Very good. Well, anyways, here I've been drawing this young lady in her comfort zone. And right now, the first panel of the comfort zone is just a box. Thanks for the heads up, gang. Kind of had a feeling. This is the first time I've actually streamed directly from OBS, hitting the stream button. It's hard to explain. I know this sounds like Greek to everybody else, but I click stream in the OBS program and it's streaming out from there across all of our channels. So I need to make sure I'm set up across all of the that my mic is set up in every scene, stuff like that. But now that it's set up, I think it's good. I don't know. I'm kind of curious if you like the vertical setup or not. So too, if you like it vertical more than the widescreen that we usually do. But I'll let you be the judge. You can tell me in the comments and I'll check later. I'll look up. I gotta get drawn here. What's up, Green Beans, over on X? Glad you guys can hear me now. Appreciate you watching. Hanging out for a little bit. Alright, so she's got... I usually draw her with a hat. But we're going to get in here and she's kind of saying in this panel, like, she feels like something's missing. I'm gonna turn the lettering on for you real quick, just so you can see what I see. Whoops. Right. It's amazing. I'm super happy. I'm pumped this morning because everything's working. Technology's actually not failed me this morning. It's working. All right, good. All right, Zen likes it vertical. I've been inspired by, I watched the Fanatics stream, you know, the Fanatics live stream, and I'm like, I want a setup like that. I want what the cool kids got. So, you know. Keep these pencils a little loose because I'm just probably going to go to inks. A little bit. Someone was asking me, like, why do you draw the same thing over and over again? And I'm like, well, it's an interesting question. If I was just magical and just could, like, make the lines perfect every time, well, then that would be amazing. And I know artists like that, but I think of penciling as, like, molding clay. So I might, you know, I might erase that. I'm not going to erase that mouth, but I can take her eyebrow here and go, oh, you know, why don't we... Oh, now she's got a big bushy eyebrow. No. Maybe, like, we change that to that. Or, you know, we make her more surprised. Like, it's kind of like molding it, molding the expression. So I also have people tell me that they like my cartooning, like the expressions that I put on people. And if I took that away and I just went with the first pass, I don't think I'd nail it. She's kind of got maybe some, crazy curly bedhead sort of action. That's cute. All right, I like that. Cool. What's up, Instagram? Thanks for popping in and out. Instagram Live, TikTok Live. I know you're popping in and out, but if you've popped in here, we've interrupted your stream. This is the VeeFriends, or your feed. You've chosen to click this and see what's up. This is VeeFriends comic strip, daily comic strip, part of VeeFriends. I'm just going to show you real quick again because I kind of went through already, but we're going to just reset every 15 minutes or so. VeeFriends is 280 plus characters created by Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk, you might know him as Gary V. Entrepreneur Elf. I mean, there's over 280 characters here on the website. You can click characters, they're alphabetical order. You can click any one you want to see like which ones they've appeared in the comics too. So if you click that, Kind Warrior here, he's obviously not tagged correctly. Darn it. All right, Countable Ant. You can see the comics they're in, and click it, and that takes you into the comic corner of the website, and you're able to read all of the comics here from January till now. And we're just trucking along. Here we are. It's like, wow, it's mid-June right now. Today's comic's about eating the same lunch every day. I'm challenging you to eat something different. Oysters and anchovies, not my choice. I would not pick that, and neither would amiable anchovy and observant oyster. They don't think that's a good idea either. So, and the juice box is just like, I'm piecing out of this comic. Let's get out of here. So, but yeah, I'm DJ Coffman. I'm the cartoonist here at VeeFriends for the comic strip. Having a lot of fun, if you can't tell. Comfort. Yeah, if you have any questions about VeeFriends or comics or creating content, anything like that, I love talking about that stuff. So, also, yeah, well, we'll just stick to that. We'll stick to what I'm best at. It's comics, I guess. I'll stay in my lane. Good morning, guys. All right, cool. Turn the lettering off now. You get the idea. I don't want to totally spoil the entire comic for you. It's going to become clear what's happening. YOLO Yak here. See, that's what I mean. Like I can draw that eye even bigger than I thought about before, just to really emphasize the panic on his face. It's the fun thing. And it's kind of usually the hair, the way that I'm drawing Yak is he's got this kind of like a poofy fro thing hair, and usually his eyes are behind it, but when I'm over exaggerating him, I'm his eyes are popping out. It's kind of what and he's very concerned about people not. You usually see them straight on if you're a VeeFriend fan. If you're familiar with VeeFriends, you see them straight on the trading cards, but you don't really see them turned. They do have snouts, you know, they like sticking out. Especially if you see these, like, you know, Cal's a good example here of, you know, Cal has like a snout popping out. So from the different angles that you would see them, you know, you might not see that. Love these little toys. Don't love the little cat hair though. Get out of here. It's fun inspiration to have like sitting around all these minis and stuff like that. If you're over on Instagram, please go read the comics and like them. You know, we got a little. We really use. I use Instagram as sort of a barometer to see if people are digging the comics. So we try to cook our comics to 400 likes or more. So, you know, a couple of them are hanging out around 300 right now for the week. So if you get in there and like those comics, share them. It's Yellow Yak Week. Okay, so also, if this is his side view, now I'm kind of drawn through his ear, like if his other ear is on the other side of his head, and the horn's coming out right here, so then the horn naturally would come up right there if we were turning it. Got to draw like seeing through walls almost, right? It's tempting to want to like draw that other ear like floating there, but that would look weird. It's not. It's over here on the other side of his head, right? So thinking of drawing like that is like sculpting. Like I'm pretty good at sculpting too. I haven't done it in years, but I used to be able to just grab a chunk of Super Sculpey and make like a little figurine, and people were like, wow, how do you know how to do that? And I'm like, well, I don't know, because I'm thinking of the characters in different poses all the time. So, you know, and other people were like, well, you should get into Blender and 3D animation, and I'm like, no, you know, you can do it all, right? You can go learn to do it all, or you can just specialize in one thing. Like, sure, I can do all of those things kind of half-assed, but I'd rather whole-ass the comic strip, right? So I think it's the guy from the founder of Basecamp, the tool for organizing things. He has a quote where he's like, you could half-ass a bunch of things or just whole-ass one thing. And I'm like, all right, well then I'm gonna the thing that I choose to whole-ass is the put my whole ass into the comics. Right. What's that looking like over there? I'm gonna just tuck that down a little bit. What's this looking like on OBS real quick? Gonna adjust it just a little bit so you can see more of my hand. It's a balance to get the TikTok stream is a little more zoomed out. Gotta find a good balance across all these platforms. Alright, cool. Yeah, if you're liking the comics, the best way you can support it is drop a like. You know, a couple people in the chat have said like, I wish I could afford to, you know, buy, you know, or whatever, buy things from VeeFriends, and we appreciate that. But you know, you can support VeeFriends by just sharing the content too, because it's really about, for VeeFriends, you know, we're trying to take these soft skills and these messages like YOLO, you only live once, you know, it's kind of a deeper thing. You know, you only live once, so you might as well get out of your comfort zone and do some of those things out there in the real world, because life is just going to pass you by before you know it. Life can be long, but it can be fast too. I don't know. Talk to any old person, they'll pretty much tell you that. Here we're just kind of drawing through again. You know, I could cop out and speed myself up by like just grabbing this. Sometimes I'll do that and just copy paste and then just shrink her down since it's the same pose, just to kind of give my, I'll change her up a little bit. But I'm not a fan of like copy paste. But if I want to get the proportions, you know, correct, in the old school days, we would use Lightbox, you know, to do the same thing. We'd photocopy and then take it over to a Lightbox and then retrace it. So, you know, these things save you some time, but I'm not a big fan of copy paste. Hope you're all having a good morning. I'm DJ. It's me. Here I am. This is where you'll find me. Most days. We were just talking about this a little bit yesterday. We were having a meeting and Gary was talking about some characters, and we're talking about, I'm trying to be vague here so I don't, you know, spoil anything, but talking about the idea of what's fun to some people isn't fun to other people. So like if everybody's out there going on, you know, let's go to the movies and let's go to the amusement park and it's the weekend, let's go to this, and then there might be a character that's like just focused on doing housework, which sounds boring, but they're really dialed in and doing, you know, they enjoy getting a clean house or a nice yard or something like that. And the friends don't understand, like, why wouldn't you want to do what we do? And it's like, because if you really enjoy what you're doing, then it's fun to you. And so like for me personally, like this is my zone that I'm in, where, you know, I'd rather be nowhere else but sitting and drawing comics. I know that sounds pretty lame to some people, and there's got to be a balance there for myself too, because if I don't go out and experience life and live it, then my comics wouldn't be as relatable, probably, right? So you got to find that balance. So I've definitely got out there, and I'm not afraid to go experience things. I like to talk to people. I didn't feel like I didn't used to be that way. I think I used to avoid people a long time ago. But now I strike up a conversation with a stranger. You know, it's probably annoying to strangers sometimes, where I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, sometimes I'm just quiet and I'll observe things, but I like to talk to people. Even here in the chats too, like if you're feeling chatty. Simba, good morning over on Instagram. I think it's Simbaland Sneaker Surgeon. Simbaland Sneaker Surgeon, good morning over on Insta. If you're feeling chatty and you want to chat back and forth, you can do that too. Again, it's the first day that I'm doing this vertical stream. So curious to know if you like this view or not. You can let me know in the comments if you prefer, if you've watched the other streams, if you prefer the landscape or this vertical stream, mobile view. And now that I kind of figured out, maybe I'll do it some more. All right, we're gonna do the horizon line back here. Where would the horizon line be? Probably up here. Nah, too high. That's good. Am I going to VCon? Yes. I don't know what capacity I'll be at VCon, but I'll figure that out. I'm gonna play it by ear, you know. Tools. All right. Good. Good morning. Dale Mink, you an artist? Looks like you got some cartoons there in your profile photo. What's going on? Hey, if you're on Instagram, pop in and out. Make sure you read the comic over on Instagram. Give it a like. Thank you. I am enjoying my day. I am excited for VCon. I really botched that horizon line. I gotta zoom out a little bit. Botched it. Just gonna draw through. That's good. That's perfect. Perfect. All right, we'll get some perspective lines here. Got it. What is this? This is the VeeFriends Daily Comic Strip. I'm the cartoonist. VeeFriends was created by Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary V. Again, we have over 280 plus characters of soft skills, positivity, YOLO, yak here, kind of trying to get you to try new things and remind you that, like, hey man, you only live once, you gotta get out there. I like his little, I've been making his little tongue like, bah. I don't know why. He's just got that tongue. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's coming out that way. I can't say for sure I've ever seen a yak with a tongue. I just don't know why. It looks funny. Let's go with it. I can't tell you how much joy I'm having that the OBS is working correctly for me this morning and that I'm streaming everywhere. I'm going to try and find a way to make it work over on TikTok too at some point, but it's a little more complicated with TikTok, I think. I don't think TikTok, since I'm on a Mac, they don't let me use the TikTok Studio or whatever. And I'm not going to set up a PC just for that. We do TikTok only streams on Mondays for right now, I guess. But right now we're streaming across all of the VeeFriends platforms. Appreciate you watching, hanging out for a minute. Hope you're, whatever you're up to. Maybe you're procrastinating at work. I got you. Don't procrastinate too much. You got those things to do. You got some meetings coming up. But don't worry. Those meetings will be over and then you can go live your life and, do it. El Per, let's go. Good morning. Thank you for refocusing me. How did I refocus you? Tell me. Flatland Creative on YouTube asked if we do one each day or do I draw them all up once a week. I wish I could. I will get to the point. Right now I'm drawing every day, which I do anyways, but we write them in advance and ideate them a little bit in advance. But yeah, I want to get to where I'm drawing. The goal, the mission is to get to be about 2 weeks ahead. I'm definitely not there right now, but it's a kind of a dynamic thing because if something breaks in pop culture or we've got a good process behind the scenes now for ideating comics and talking about it, letting ideas marinate. Maybe that's the way that it should be instead of thinking about being too far ahead, because when you've locked yourself in and you're stuck with this content that you can't mold and change. But I do want to be further ahead. Okay, so the idea here is that the comfort zone starts with just this box and a giant cup of tea, and then there's a plant there. And now it's evolved into this couch. She's taking a nap. And now you can just straight up see all the words comfort zone. Reminded me to get back editing my presentation. You got stuck doom scrolling. Well, I'm glad that I interrupted your doom scroll. I wouldn't tell you to get out of the stream and stop watching. But, you got to get your work done. I know that happens, though. I got this wide screen right in front of me. And it's kind of I got so many things opened up. And it's such a trap for procrastination, But getting disciplined and serious about just, hey, if you could crush your work out, then you can go have fun. You can work hard, play hard. Shout out to Wiz Khalifa here in Pittsburgh. But I've done that too. I procrastinate, or I get lost. I wouldn't say I'm slacking, but you get lost in other things that you're not supposed to be thinking about, because it's and then suddenly you're the end of the week, and I'm oh man, I shouldn't have done this. I should have crushed this. All right, so now she's going to be kind of a snoozing pose. I kind of want a nice blanket. We still want to see that it's her. So she's got her hair. Smiling because it's still very comfortable in the comfort zone. The comfort zone has evolved to have all these things that are super comfy. It's evolved into like a couch. Originally, it was just going to be a box the whole time, but I'm like, no, it has to have like a flat screen TV in there. Everything that you would need in a little tiny cozy, apartment. Just watch your TV and have your tea and consume, and then get up and go to work. Right? That's nice to hear. The stream is good. I like to talk to people in these streams to find out like why you watch beyond the fact that you're watching a cool comic being drawn. Occasionally, I gotta let my cat in and out. I like to know why you are watching. Some people are artists. Some people are curious about art. But why are you watching out there? Let me know. What made you stop? And then why are you staying? Hey, Chef Liz, what's up? Chef Lizette. I'm really happy with the comics this week, too. Feeling good about it. We're cooking things behind the scenes a little bit different. Just a little differently. Wow, has it been 49 minutes already? Alright. We're getting there. Blanket and cozy and more pillows. We need more pillows back on this. Super cozy. I'll link that up. Different. The horizon line. Yeah, lots of people listen with the or watch with the sound off. Some people listen with the sound off or watch with the sound off. Some people hang out. But I'm always curious as to why you dig it, what you hang around for. I like to talk to people about their favorite VeeFriends too, so if you have a favorite VeeFriend, drop them in there. Beauty Smith says ugly and fat. Are you speaking to me? Or, I'm not the prettiest, and I could lose a couple pounds for sure. I'm trying. But thanks for commenting, Beauty Smith. Is that why you're watching? I don't know. I just hang out because VeeFriends is my home and my community. And it's the easiest way for me to tune in. That's good to know. Like, I like to talk to the actual people that are out there that are part of the community. And, it's way easier for me to tune in than being overwhelmed by social. So overwhelmed by social, that's like a highlight that pops out for me. Because it does feel like the more people I'm talking to, especially creators, like if there's someone that's creating something, they're very overwhelmed with work or having to post everywhere and like feeling like they had to keep up with their other people, and there's ads flying at you, and I get it. It can really can feel overwhelming. There was a time where I had to take over social media. What's going on with this music? Let's turn this down a little bit. It's a little much. All right. I remember there was a time that one of my old jobs that I had to take over the social media channels because, well, honestly, our budget had gotten cut at this job, and we lost our social media company that was helping us. And I was in the position where I was like, I guess I have to run these channels now. And I was like, it can't be that hard. So, and I did it, and I knew how to do it, but I'd have to like do the active listening and the check-ins a couple times a day, and I was just like, it made me feel like junk. So after a couple months of having to do that every day, I just didn't feel good. I felt like negative, and like it just felt ugly out there, and it was a bummer, and like really kind of had to refocus myself and go like, whoa, that's not the real world out there. Like, people are upset, stirred up about things. I hated it. I hated seeing my friends fighting with each other, or like people, I just didn't like that. So I think you got to find that balance, Zen says, I love watching the entire process of the characters gaining identity, and the storytelling is awesome. Thank you. I love art and collecting and all the positivity surrounding VeeFriends. That's great. Talk a little bit more about VeeFriends if you're listening. I don't know. This music is really jazzy, and it's like throwing me off. I like it usually chiller than this, but I'm gonna keep it going. Adjust this a little bit. Do this. One second. Do this instead. This is gonna get change up that music a little bit. Okay. Flatland Creative over on YouTube. I'm an artist. I run a small boutique 2D animation studio, also motion graphics. So I like to watch artists work and draw and talk. Like collectible cards, like Garbage Pail Kids. VeeFriends is a bit different than Garbage Pail Kids, but not so different to the collector and artist. Yeah, actually, funny you mentioned Garbage Pail Kids. Is that I've said that Bare Minimum Bob in the comic strip is pretty much a grown-up Garbage Pail Kid, accidentally. Hey, Missile 0308. Thanks, over on Instagram. Appreciate that. Appreciate you watching. You had an audition for VeeFriends? You had an audition for this? I hope you do well. I assume voice acting, maybe. I don't know. That's awesome. Great. Yeah, the Moonbug folks are really cool. VeeFriends is fun. You know, I think that's kind of the thing that we're trying to figure out. Like, well, I'm trying to figure out. I think maybe the company itself too is, we've got different levels of um, ages that we're going for. So the Moonbug show is definitely for a younger audience there on YouTube Kids. I was thinking last night on the couch, I was talking to another friend, and they were like, well, your comics online can't be for little kids because, kids under 14 technically can't be on social media. And I'm like, that's true. Okay, cool. I'm just going to start inking this up a little bit up here. Throw some inks on here. So you see I'm fading out the red lines now. We got just the pencils. I like that the comfort zone evolved. That's nice. Happy with that. But it's interesting who is listening or watching VeeFriends online to me. Like, who's reading these comics. It's adults, clearly, different age ranges. I like to know where you're from, what you're up to. Are you an entrepreneur? We got a voice actor here. What are you up to in your life? We have a lot of entrepreneurs because of Gary, but what does VeeFriends do for you? Like, I understand inspiring in that, but there's got to be something a little bit deeper. I like to get to that point, because then we just trying to throw those vibes back into the universe, right? So, Princess Salim NFT, are you using Procreate? Yeah, this is Procreate on an iPad Pro. Trying to adjust find this balance over here on without getting too crazy. There we go. TikTok, sorry that it's a different view, but some people prefer TikTok. I hope TikTok sticks around, but we'll be wherever the attention is. Okay, cool. So I'm just fading. You can see I can fade out that pencils with just sliding my hand back and forth. Yeah, I love Procreate. I've been drawing in Procreate since almost day one of using an Apple iPad. Make sure I keep her consistent nose. Yeah, she's got kind of like the pointed up nose a little bit. I'm gonna do some inking fun. If you're watching over on Instagram, I hope you read the comics over on Instagram and give them a like. Full transparency, I try to, I like to see the comics get over 400 likes over there. Not that I'm fishing for likes right now, but if you like it, it helps. We try to bake those comics to 400 likes. We got a couple hanging out at 300, so your likes matter. I have other people that say they wish they could buy the toys and the cards, and they just don't have the budget for the stuff that we have out there. We have shirts and all kinds of things going on. But I would say that, if you talk to Gary or Andy or anybody on the team, we just want you to kind of live the characters a bit. So one of the best ways you can support, if you feel like got that supportive spirit, is to share the content. If you see something on the social media that you like, a meme or a comic strip, then share it. Say something about it. Send it to a friend. Be like, oh, hey, this made me think of that one time that this happened. You know, today, drawing this young lady kind of stuck in a comfort zone. This week, we're kind of focused on YOLO Yak. This character here, YOLO Yak. Right. That's interesting. Zen 10 Lotus Tarot over on. It's really weird saying long usernames, but over on YouTube said, what's cool about VeeFriends is that kids and adults need to learn these traits within themselves, so it is for everyone. And that's super interesting because I talk about that a lot on these streams, about even talking to Gary last week up in the office, that I feel like, you know, I wasn't a bad person before, but VeeFriends definitely made me a kinder person, I think, a more patient person, because now when I'm out in the real world and something's coming at me, it just hits different now. Like, the quick example I gave was I showed up to the hotel and tried to get in my room, and there was someone behind the door like snickering or laughing, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, my key wouldn't work at the room. So I went down to the front desk. I was a little bit annoyed at first, but then I'm like, well, this is just funny to me. Like, this is weird. This has never happened before. And I went to the front desk, and they called, like, they didn't call security, but they were like, oh, there's been a mix-up. And then my room was kind of like, you know, they didn't put me in the room that I was supposed to be in, I don't think, because it was a really tiny room. There wasn't even like a shelf in the bathroom for putting like things on. And I was like, all right, you know, I'm just gonna roll with this. Like, this is what was supposed to happen, and I'm here in New York. I get to go work with good people, and I'm not like a diva, you know. And the hotel staff felt bad or something, and I was like, no, it's good. It's all good. I'm not gonna cause you a bunch of pain and be a bad customer. Same thing at, like, coming back and right before that going to breakfast, and there was some computer problem at the breakfast joint, so they couldn't give you your check. So the waitresses were kind of freaking out. I felt bad for the waitresses because I knew that was their morning. You know, they weren't going to get any more tips. Whatever you think about tipping culture, whatnot. But I felt for them. So, like, my son and I left her a really nice tip, and she looked mortified to come to our table, and I just wanted to kind of just ease her mind a little bit and say, like, hey, it's okay. I hope your day gets better. And I was proud of my son. He's 26, right? Dylan, if you're not 26, 25, 26, right? That he said, I hope your day gets better, to the lady. And she was like, thank you. I told that story to Gary, and he was like, oh man, thanks for sharing that with me, because, you know, I think Gary likes to hear those real life impact that VeeFriends is having, even in our own staff, you know. So and I try to think of moments for in my own life as I draw these characters, when I'm like thinking of you. Like, last week it was be the bigger person. Before that it was generous gerbil. I would think to my life about YOLO Yak. I'm like, are there times where I just threw caution to the wind? I talked about that on Monday's stream, but yeah, there's been some times where I threw some caution to the wind. I told the story on Monday. I'll retell it again here for the whole channels, but when I was younger, like 2006, something like that, there was a contest on the internet called Comic Book Challenge, and it was kind of like American Idol for comic books. And I didn't have a lot of money. I was raising 3 boys working as an artist, doing freelance work, freelance graphic design, web design. So we didn't have a lot of budget. But the deal was, if you got picked for this contest, you got to go to California, but you have to pay for your own travel. Your hotel and your probably about $1,200 worth of travel stuff to go to San Diego Comic-Con and pitch there directly. And my ex-wife at the time, my now ex-wife, my wife at the time, she was like, "We can't afford that. Like, we can't. Like, you're not doing that, right?" And I was like, I just kind of had a gut feeling that I was like, I think I could do this. And so I pitched. I put my submission in, and it got picked. And I was like, uh-oh, now I got to buy a ticket. And there came this decision point where the producers from Platinum Studios, who I worked with, they were like, "Okay, so you've been picked to come out here, but we need confirmation today that you are going to show up. So just tell us right now that you're going to show up, and we'll put you in as one of the pitch people." And I'm like, okay. I just said yes. It was not a good. There was definitely some like bad feelings internally at the home, because it was $1,200 or something. I remember we didn't have a whole lot of money, but I just kind of knew. I just kind of could feel it deep down. And that was even contentious. Like, when you're around people that don't feel it, they just think that you're having pipe dreams or something. But I just was like, I know it. I just felt like it already happened. And so I threw caution to the wind there. YOLO. And I jumped out and did that. And then I won it. So I did. Long story short, I won that. I made more money in probably a couple years working with that company than I'd ever made with my artwork up until that point. And I thought it would make people in my life happy. Like, here, I did it. See, I told you. I did that thing. And it still didn't make them happy. When people are unhappy, they're just going to be unhappy, Sometimes. I've learned that in life. You could make as much money in the world. It ain't gonna make them happy. And it won't make you happy. So, YOLO. That's what you learn over time. You'll never make everybody else happy. So, I could have stayed in my comfort zone at that moment in my life. See, this is what happens in these streams, especially about an hour in or something. I'm inking something, especially during the inking stage, I noticed. Because I'm thinking about comfort zones, We had our nice little house. I had some gigs, I was just paying the bills. But there was this opportunity that was bigger, and I could feel it. And I knew it. And I went for it. It still didn't make anyone else happy around me. Then years after that, and I've told this story before too, but to anyone listening now, that job fell apart. Like, that whole dream kind of fell apart. And people that said that it would never work were like, I told you so. And that sucked. And I thought, well, I'll go back. I'll get a day job. This will make everyone happy. I'll go back and I'll get like a corporate-y job. I got like basically a creative director job. I'm like, this benefits, stability will make all of these people in my life happy, right? Like, I'll get respect. And it didn't work. My marriage still fell apart. Everything just kind of fell apart. But I was happy. I stayed with that job. I stayed in that job for 10 years. Until I took another chance. I left that job because I just was listening to people like Gary and a couple other, other influencers out there that were like, hey man, you got one life. And I'm like, that's right. So I had done the full-time comics for 13 years, and I was lucky to do that, fortunate to do that. But now I had done a 10-year career at a corporate thing, and I wasn't really feeling it anymore. And I was like, all right, it's time for me to, spread my wings, take all that I've learned, and try again. So I went out and got a different job. I had started that job in 2023. And then VeeFriends happened. So call it manifesting, whatever you'd like. I was thinking a lot about my YouTube channel and like making more comics and stuff, and talking and sharing what I know with other young cartoonists, and started a personal brand that helps artists stay encouraged, and it was really fulfilling to me. I was like, I found my purpose, I think. And then VeeFriends kind of happened, and I wouldn't say that was anything like that other story. Like, it wasn't a risk for me to send to start drawing comics and be like, hey, cool. But as soon as I saw the opportunity to do a comic strip for VeeFriends or work with VeeFriends, I'm like, I can do that. I think I can do that. I would be good at that. And so here we are. But if I would have stayed in my comfort zone, I wouldn't be here right now. Because my corporate job that I left, that was actually pretty comfortable. I could make my own hours. I was in control of millions of dollars of budget. I got to travel the world if I wanted to. But there was so much stress and so much other stuff and unhappiness that I was like, I'm not going to die doing this. You see. Right? Mix 1, 2, 3. Let's see. I'm gonna go through the comments here real quick. Yellow Yak's script in your comic sounded more bold and quite different. Not saying it's bad, but just kind of bold and more blunt. Not sure it's described. Yes. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think we had a voice for Yellow Yak before, but coming up with kind of what's the vibe of that character, like he just kind of shows up in your life and kind of just forces you to get out of your comfort zone, right? Or to take that chance. So I think it's a mix of Andy and Gary and how people really talk. Let's see. I'm gonna review it. Kind of curious. Let's review these strips here real quick. So we had Yellow Yak, an old man. I wish I would have listened to you more. He's like, is that so? I should have taken more chances in life. Like, that go-kart racing doesn't seem so dangerous to me now. But I'm too old. Too old? You ain't dead yet, Grandpa. Are you? He's like very assertive, right? He's like, oh no? He's like, well then let's go. And they take off in the, he's very aggressive. He's a very aggressive yak. Same thing, he pops up. Obviously, they don't want yaks in the office. But Yellow Yak is breaking the rules kind of vibe. He's trying to pull this guy out of his comfort zone of work. Maybe this is this guy's comfort zone. At least he's a VeeFriends fan. Steve. And he's like, why the heck not? He's like, this work, it's never ending. And he's like, so he's just kind of just blunt. He's like, hey, you know what is ending? Your life is ending. It's passing you by. I promise you on your deathbed you won't miss that work, but you will regret missing this epic experience. That's kind of like Garyism, like that's Gary Gary voice there, and then like he promises you will not miss that stuff. So it's encouraged Steve to kind of go to the game. Fun fact: the Knicks won last night because of this comic. This was a good luck charm for them, and they just won last night. So it's Gary. Gary was courtside. The Yak made Steve go to the game. That's perfect. Today's comic was the PB&J 37 times in a row. This was an Andy joint. Like Andy was kind of talking this out during the meeting about we have a thing about oysters, like Gary says about, have you ever tried oysters, tried something different? So we kind of take these ideas and mash them into different things, and then they become the comic strip, right? So today's comic, Yolo Yak is basically telling him, like, hey man, why don't you mix it up? Try oysters and anchovies. And so he's being pretty nice here, I think. He's not very aggressive with this man. Maybe I should have had him like smacking the peanut butter jelly out of his no. And then we had guest appearance from Amiable Anchovy and Observant Oyster. They were fun to draw. Now that I'm looking at it, you know what? I did mess up something real quick. I'm gonna fix it though for the final. We gotta change this 5 to like a red color. Do that right like that. Just right like that. We need that 5 to be red. Okay. So yeah, he gives them like a tahini or a falafel wrap. And my favorite part of this comic is the guest stars popping in, saying "Don't eat us," pretty much, and the juice box peacing out. He's just kind of like, "I'm out. This comic is over." And then today I'm drawing the Comfort Zone strip. Woke Ventures over on YouTube said, "Do I still believe in NFTs?" Yes. To what level? That's a whole other question. It's a profound. It's a different. I have a personal opinion about NFTs and things, but it's not worth talking about. Maybe it is. I don't know. Closing some windows here. I got too many windows open. Great. Okay. Back to inking. NFTs. Well, I always understood NFTs as more like digital collectibles. So I still believe in that. And I still believe in the VeeFriends digital versions 1s, version 2s. I believe in all that stuff because there's so much opportunity. I'm not saying that any of this is just me just talking out loud. But there's so much, the world's going to go that way, whether it's kind of fallen off right now or not. More things are going to become digital and virtual and, content-wise as well. Not gate-kept stuff, but like access to things will change over the years in all of culture, I think. It's just my thought on it. But if you have like a VeeFriends NFT, I think it's just like it's like owning like I've got some cool you know what I've got? I'll show you what I've got. Love is what I got. I've got these rare coins. There's one there. From Peter McKinnon. And these are probably, I don't know, if you look that up, if you look up Pete's Pirate Life coins on eBay, you're going to find all different kinds of coins. I've got another coin there. That's a Memento Mori coin. That's fun. And that's just a, something to fidget with. It's made of brass. It's very nice, very soothing. So I collect things. Everybody, like, I think Rips, Adam Rips will say, different people collect bottle caps and what else? Everything. People collect things that you would never even think of. So digital trading cards and digital, let's call it IP, like whenever the idea, I guess, the bigger idea would be that whenever VeeFriends is bigger, because like we're pretty small right now compared to other IP out there. We're not Marvel Comics or anything yet, but we all believe in it. And I think Gary's like said that it's his life. He's going to be doing this for the rest of his life. That's a long time. Like, so be patient, and you may or may not. It's a speculative thing if you're only in it for like, I own this trading card. But I think there's also something to I don't know. I was thinking about this because I'm like, and this is just DJ talking here, but could you imagine if I owned a Spider-Man #1, or Todd McFarlane Spider-Man #1 from 1989 or whatever it was, 1990. And I reached out to Marvel and I'm like, hey Marvel, I think you should do this and that and this and this and this because I'm invested in your thing. The more your IP grows and the more Spider-Man you make awesome, or these Deadpool comics, you need to do this and this and this because when this Deadpool movie, but I'm telling you right now, that Deadpool movie made those first appearances of Deadpool go way up. And the same thing happens for Disney, Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny. I think people are sleeping on Looney Tunes. Like, not anybody remember. Like, I was talking to some kids. They don't know what Bugs Bunny is. How freaking... What? Like, what in the world? Like, what is happening? They don't know what Bugs Bunny is. Because somewhere along the line, Bugs Bunny kind of fell out a little bit, I guess. Right? But yeah. I believe in storytelling. That's what I believe in. Whoever tells the best stories wins. And there's a lot. And there's room for a lot of it. There's room for so many out there. Like, I was really... what I was admiring last night a bit was Pudgy Penguins. I was on their Instagram and I was like, man, they're really doing really well. I don't own any of that. I see them, but I see them at Walmart. Everything seems so cohesive, and it's very, this is it. This is what you got. This is what it is. There's not much more to it than what it is. It's not trying to be everything. I think VeeFriends is a little bit bigger in scope because also I think Gary and everything is just bigger, but it might be slower. It might be slower for us to, especially with this many characters and things like that, to develop. But we got a lot of stuff cooking, so the opportunities are endless. And who knows? We might be talking about things 5 years from now that no one could have even dreamt of. Virtual influencers. What if these characters could just accidentally come to life on their own? Think about that. Like, we program the characters into AI, and they just kind of come to life and just act, and then we just I'm just brainstorming here. These are not anything we're planning. I'm just talking about how I see the future as a creative. That you would like basically program a character into a machine, into a GPT or whatever. So like, here's all the character traits, and you as the creator would have. Wow, this is getting crazy. But you would have access to that GPT to change it. So if the character was getting a little crazy, you could be like, hey man, don't be eating those burritos anymore. Don't do that. Or hey, why don't you dial it down a little bit, Yellow Yak? And then he would just adjust his life. But these characters could be virtually living their lives out there, and you're checking in on them, and like they're starring in comic strips and movies, and you're interacting with them back and forth on social. Hey, you want to message Yellow Yak? He's gonna get back to you, like for real. Like, and you're gonna feel like, I need some advice. You know, like Yellow Yak, or you know, Chat GPT. I've seen people, and I would, you know, putting in their advice, like they're having a life problem, and they're just talking with GPT back and forth, going like, here's the problem. My wife, blah, 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 blah. How do I, right? Which is kind of weird, but at least they're reaching out to somebody. Like they don't want to talk to a real person, so this virtual thing gives them the safety to ask for help. That's interesting to me. That's an interesting use of GPT. I'm not going to get like conspiracy theory and say like, well, that's a good way that they can like spike the answers, but that are given to you. But I think that people reaching out for help when they're having a problem, instead of just trying to deal with it themselves. But wouldn't that be cool if you could just be like, Yellow Yak, I can't afford to go to VCon this year. Give me some tips on how can I raise some money quickly without breaking the law, Yellow Yak? And he's like, all right, here's what we're going to do. And so now you've got a partner in this virtual character. I really like that idea. I think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to be able to reach out and talk to Mickey Mouse and Garfield, and maybe not. Maybe those characters will die like Bugs Bunny. Talk to some 14-year-olds and they're like, Bugs Bunny? Daffy Duck, what? Even Mickey Mouse is a little bit tame, you know, like, but who you want to ask for advice? Mickey Mouse or Yellow Yak? I mean, depending on the answer you're wanting to get. Or if you're like, hey, you know, I really think there's something there. This is something deeper we'll talk about internally, I'm sure, right? Decisive Duck. If you're having problems deciding something, he's your man. You just go to Decisive Duck, ask the question, give him the situation, and he's going to give you the best possible advice, whether you're going to listen to it or not. Because, you know, let's face it, people get the advice and they don't listen because they're people. Humans don't want to listen to advice. They want to ask for advice, but they don't want to listen to what you got to say. At least in my experience. Thanks for watching over on TikTok. What are we? We're an hour and a half in. I'm going to keep going. I don't think there's anything else going on. Let me check my schedule, though, just to make sure. Looked like I was pretty free and clear to keep on keeping on here. Let's do it. Let's put the time on. Let's keep crushing the comics together. Appreciate you watching. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. I hope that if you're unhappy or in life, I hope you find something that you're digging. I just realized something. a little off on this box. Yeah, hope you got something that gives you juice in your life. And if you want to chat about that, you can. You can drop a note to us. Let's turn up this music a little bit. I'm going to keep on trucking. Shouldn't ink that zoomed in because if I ink too zoomed in, then it might be too thin of a line. As my tattoo friends say, my tattoo artist friends say, if it's bold, it holds. And that goes for your drawings as well. So having a nice bold outline, something like that. Boy, I sure can ramble. We talked about all kinds of stuff today. Comfort zones and AI and, you know, I really don't think AI is a replacement for human creativity. I think it's more of like a extension of, you know, of yourself. If you want it to be. Yeah, Zen Lotus over on YouTube, we were talking about taking that leap of faith, like that leap of, I'll even say it was a leap of intuition, you know. Sometimes I wonder, and I just think like, what would have happened to me had I not made took those chances? You know, there were definitely some times I spent money on things I shouldn't have in my life, or I don't want to say that. Like I took like a correspondence course once. It was a few $100. Again, I didn't have a lot of money, so like anytime I'd fool around with something like that, my spouse at the time was not happy with that. She was very like, I can't believe you're wasting money on this. And then she'd buy like $100 jeans. But didn't really have the support structure around my creativity at the time. Tolerating me wasn't support. Like tolerating the fact that I was an artist or I had dreams and ambitions, that's not the same as supporting and being supportive. of your person. So be patient with your creative friends and people. You know, creativity needs an outlet, is what I've found. So you can have the most cool job on the planet, you can make a lot of money, but if you are a creative person, and I actually think that you're born kind of creative and it gets sucked away from you in life. So if you don't have some sort of outlet beyond working for other people, you're going to feel pent up. And I encourage people to draw, you know, if they don't know what they want to do. But if you don't know what you want to do yet, well, Gary says something pretty smart where he says, well, now it's a good time to try things. So that kind of aligns with the YOLO Yak Week too. Like, you got one life. You might, and if you don't know what, if something's missing, if you've had that feeling of like something's missing, I'm not happy, then you can try it. Go try things. Get out there and try some new stuff. Try some new food. Try some new adventures. Go meet new friends. Go to a couple weird, meetups about some topic that you like. Get a new bucket of friends. And watch your life transform. And sooner or later, you're going to hit something where you're like, damn, I never thought about this. This is awesome. I've seen that happen a dozen times in my close friend circles now. So thanks for watching everywhere. I'm live on all the channels, I believe, still. Instagram, TikTok. This is about the time of the day that the West Coast people start rolling in. I've been at this one for a little while. Check my view on. What do we got? I don't really like that view. See how this one works out for a minute. Could turn on my neon sign back here. For me, that thing that I say about finding your passion, for me it's drawing. It's not just drawing comics. That's what my vocation is. Like, that's what I want to master, like, I want to become even better at this. But storytelling and comics specifically. But But for me, on days that I don't get to draw, which isn't very often anymore, on those days that I didn't get to draw, I would feel dead. I'd feel like, miserable. And I didn't realize it until I was like, wait, did you draw today? It's like, no, you didn't do anything creative today. You were just in meetings, and you were in, working on budgets and doing boring stuff and doing house stuff. And then I would say, okay, I gotta give myself a half an hour of time, even though I was busy with other work and stuff. I'd be like, I'm gonna give myself a half an hour, and I'm gonna make something for myself every morning, even just a sketch that no one will see, and my days would be better. So I tell that to musicians too. My son's a musician, and trying to impart to him don't stop playing your music. You know, even if you just whittle around on the guitar at night for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, write something up. I gotta fix this horizon line. I'm not feeling confident about that. Let's do this. It's supposed to be right there, but that'll be color. Okay. What is going on with... Okay. Now we're kind of in the deep work here. If you're just watching, I'm DJ Coffman, the cartoonist here at VeeFriends. VeeFriends is over 280 characters, created by Gary Vaynerchuk. They all have different traits or soft skills, like consistent cougar here, knowing gnome, zestful zebra. There's over 280 of them. We also have merch available, hoodies and t-shirts, collectible trading card game. You can watch the Fanatics live streams. One of my favorite things here is the minis. You can see that there's these vending machines all over the country that have these little minis for your... Here's the bubblegum version of... That's fun. There's a map here that you can find those machines. Find a store near you. And they're different rarities. I've got a diamond aspiring alpaca there. So there's season 1 and season 2 are out right now of these. Probably one of the most entry level ways you can get into collecting VeeFriends are these toppers. They're fun. I like them because I'm an artist. And they're fun to put on my pencil. I actually get people that ask me, what are those toppers? Like, where do you get those fun things? Might start opening some of those on little breaks on the streams. They're fun to open. They're little capsules. You never know who you're going to get. It's fun. But if you have a favorite VeeFriend, I always want to know why. I always kind of want to know. the deeper and deeper we go into telling stories, like, yeah, the comic strips, they're great for sure, but we're going to be telling more stories as we go with the characters and different mediums. And I'm always curious as to see who your favorite is and why. Why are you vibing with that character? That's always my question to people. What is it about VeeFriends that you like the most? If you're not familiar with VeeFriends, well, welcome. This is the daily comic strip. We've been kind of doing some, well, we have been doing character weeks, so this week is YOLO Yak. So he's reminding you to kind of get out of your comfort zone and try some new things, try some new food. Here he's literally telling this girl to get out of her comfort zone. Hope you share the comics. It's a good way to support us without, it doesn't take any money, nothing like that. Just sharing the message and the fun of VeeFriends with your friends will help us grow, help us find new people that need it in their life. Because like Zen said over on YouTube, it's definitely things that we all ages need to learn. Parents need to learn it more. These soft skills need a little help, need a little hand. Are we all experts internally at this? No, we're humans. Like, we all have different levels of understanding and experience. Some of us have more experience than others in different things, in different avenues, but we can all learn from each other, and that's the fun part about life. That we can all be different and from different places, and we all look different. We're all kind of like unique in our own ways. Definitely VeeFriends, if you look at them, they're very unique traits, unique voices, but they're all friends, even if they're flawed a little bit. We talk about that a lot internally, and you'll see it even more and more in the future. Is like these characters, they have the blue and the red, like we're bringing them back to the middle, like the purple. Like they don't want to be too extreme on either side, because if you were like, so if we think about YOLO Yak in that way, let me just think out loud for a minute on YOLO Yak. The good part about YOLO Yak at his best is he's encouraging you to get out of your comfort zone and live life while you're here. And that could change a lot of lives. He's helping. He's helping you check some things off your bucket list. The bad part at his worst is maybe he doesn't quite think about things that could hurt people. Like maybe like credit card debt is a big one. If he doesn't understand money because he's a yak, he doesn't really have budgets or mortgages or anything like that. But somebody like actively listens to him and says, you know what, I'm going for it. I'm going to put this $20,000 on my credit card. And then now they're in debt and they blame the yak. And he's like, oh man, I ruined. Like, you got to have that accountability too. So like someone like another character like Accountable Ant might tell this person, hey, you got to be a little, don't spend more than you have, and that kind of thing, that accountability. But Yak might not see that through. He's just wanting you to go for He doesn't think about all the angles of your life, of why you're sitting in, maybe you're sitting in your comfort zone because that's the only thing that you can afford to do. You know, want to really talk it out. We don't want to over explain things, like that's not what we want to do. But morning, Megan. This is the first time I was able to stream out of OBS into all of the channels vertically. I tried it before and it failed. Didn't work. Except for TikTok, because like TikTok, you're just seeing the one view. Sorry about that. You're still hanging and chilling, so it's good. Appreciate you popping in and out. Trying to fix you up TikTok a little bit. Fix up here. Fix up that TikTok view. Get in there a little bit more. Go in. All right. Just wanted to zoom in a little bit for the TikTok folks. You see what happened here in this comic that I'm drawing is it starts off, she's just on a box that says comfort zone, and then the second panel there's like a plant there, and then now this panel there's like a full-on, it's like morphed into a couch and there's a TV, and the comfort zone just keeps getting more comfy to keep you there. It's kind of the unspoken truth of this comic today or tomorrow. Part of me wishes that I could just, well, maybe we'll get there, because each strip takes about, on average, let's just say 5 hours. Sometimes it can be a little bit shorter than that, 4.5, 5 hours on average. Maybe 3.5, maybe 4 hours. Like at minimum. And then I've got a little bit of post-production to do, like chopping it up and stuff like that for the social team. But maybe it would be fun in the future to kind of just do a straight stream from beginning to end. I try to do like 90-minute streams, but here we are. It's almost 2 hours. Hey, Ketki, what's up? Over on YouTube. It says, now that's some art. Thanks. We got the iliac here. Gotta turn off these. Messages. Is that you? Megan says that she feels like I'm drawing her right now. What's the longest part of the process? I don't know. The writing, probably, maybe kind of figuring out the concept and then sketching like the molding of it. The inking is almost pretty automatic once we got the composition down. It used to be the coloring took me a while, but I'm trying to keep a track of that. The coloring used to be the longest part, but maybe it still is. That's like a little tedious. And I don't work. There's been a couple days where I did work straight 5 hours, get the strip done. Like on a day like today where I don't really have many other meetings yet. Or let's not curse myself with, but if something pops up, I gotta jump to another meeting or whatever. That's cool. Like we have different meetings. On a day like today, I just want to get the comic done as soon as possible. And then maybe do some writing. Ideally, I'd like to draw 1 strip per day and then 1.5, work on 1.5 strips, but that's just not been really possible the past month or so. But I'm pretty confident we'll get there, especially with the way we've been doing some brainstorming and ideating ahead. We kind of know what the characters of the weeks are going to be now for the next 20 weeks or something like that. So it kind of just already allows my brain to cook a little bit with some of the ideas, which is nice. So this one total, let me just check. I started this pretty early this morning. 3 hours 20 minutes on this one so far, and I got one more panel to draw, so it's gonna end up being about 5 hours, 5-hour strip. But that's why it's a full-time thing. Now I know other artists that takes them a lot longer to do it. And I could spend way too much time, noodling. That's what we call it, where we're getting in here, and I just want to make sure I'm closing the lines so that the coloring will be a little bit faster when I fill in those solid shapes. That's good, that's good. Close this nose here. Sometimes I don't really close those lines. I'm not too happy with this. This hand looks a little bit. I don't know why I'm on a different layer here. Okay, do that. probably could just grab that and just make it a little bit bigger. Let's just do that instead of trying to redraw the whole thing. Oh. And sometimes you'll hit a panel where it's just not working. Lately that hasn't happened for me. We have the solid idea. I'm not really working it too much. But occasionally I'll hit a pose or like a hand like this where I'm just not happy with it. But that's good enough. It's pointing directly at the comfort zone. I think I'm on Twitch today. I don't know. Let's see. No, it's turned off. It's like something got turned off there. LinkedIn got turned off. Twitter got turned off. Huh. It's a black screen on Twitch. Hey Megan, hang out for a second. Let me try and fix this. I'm going to toggle it back on. It's almost like these have been toggled off. Let me make sure I'm not. Streaming. That's super weird. Okay. Can you check and see if it's back on Twitch? Seems to be working on YouTube, X, Instagram. Cool. It says live but still a black screen. The audio button is MIA, so I can't tell if audio is there. Super weird. Yeah, the only thing I've done differently is connect via OBS. It says I'm live on Twitch. Let me undo it. I'll try to turn it back on. Maybe it just needs to reconnect. I'm going to click it one more time. View on Twitch. Let's see. I can see it on Twitch right now, I think. Nope. 2 minutes ago. Weird. Well, that stinks. Oh well, I'm gonna just disconnect the Twitch here. just disconnected the Twitch because maybe it like limited it. I don't know. I definitely got some comments from Twitch today, but usually not that many people watch from Twitch. So, okay. Great. Weird. We'll try again next time, Friday. Okay. Back to. Let's gonna go with like a light purple color for this one. Just throw it in there. Whoops. Do that. I don't know what's going on with. Something real quick. I wonder if the Twitch was ever live. That's weird. It's like it got toggled off. I don't understand why, but cool. Thanks for pointing that out, though. Appreciate it. We'll get to the bottom of it so that the next time it's, you know, there for everybody. I'm just super stoked to be live on Instagram, to be honest, because what am I doing? Mass Panda asked what I'm doing. I'm drawing the daily comic strip that you see on VeeFriends.com right now. So, I'm going to put a foreground that's kind of, I think we're going to go kind of white here. Whoops. Yeah, I'm drawing the daily comic strip. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. Especially over on Instagram, if you're liking the comics, make sure you hit the like button over there on the actual posts, and share them up, share them to your stories or whatever. It's a good way of supporting the comic and VeeFriends, and letting us know that you're enjoying it. And over here on these streams, I like to talk to you, find out what the vibe is, like what characters you like in VeeFriends. Do you know VeeFriends? Are you familiar with it? Comment, let me know. If you're familiar with VeeFriends, if you have a favorite VeeFriend, why you're here. Maybe it's new to you and you just stopped. What made you stop? About the stream here. Back up. Uh-oh. Okay. paste the other color in here real quick. Oh. Sometimes I gotta stop to concentrate a little bit so I don't mess up these lines. Alright, got the blue, blue, blue. Turn that off. Turn that on. Turn these pencils off. So yeah, I'm in the coloring stage right now a little bit of some of these. Suffocate, Hate, and Passionate Parrot are my favorite and collected few of them over on Coffman over on TikTok. Thanks for letting me know. What is it about? I think I might have talked to you before actually, but if you're out there, what is it about VeeFriends that you like the most? Or why are you hanging out? I'm always curious. We're gonna have this. Yeah, I recognize your name. It's like, hey, I've had this conversation before. You. I won't ask you again, but yeah, I don't mind you repeating so that other people can see as well. It's nice to get that chat going, get the community hangout kind of thing, you know. We get some people talking about VeeFriends. Sometimes people come in and just drop stuff about their life too, you know, like what's going on. What's going on? We had who was it earlier here? Elper say, hey, like, you helped me refocus my day and remind me that I needed to work on some stuff. So she was just listening in while or she or he, I don't know, it looked like a girl there, but if I got you wrong, well, sorry. What's going on, everybody? What are you up to on this fine Wednesday that we got brewing? You see what I'm up to. Yeah, short resume around Gary since day zero, way before VeeFriends being a thing. So did you know Gary personally then, from day zero? Like he came out of his mom, like his mom, he was born and you were, no, day zero. Is this Gary's mom? No. I understand what you mean. I have that funny story when people ask me, how long have you been following Gary? I'm like, well, it's funny because the first time I ever saw Gary was on Wine TV. I was going to a wine party thing and I was really stressed, like thinking, oh man, I don't know anything about wine, and I stumbled. This was before algorithms and stuff, so I was just on YouTube and I saw, like, YouTube must have either, I don't know how it used to serve things, but somehow I saw it and I'm like, oh, I just want to know like what wine tastes good, or be able to like what would I like? I don't know. I was very nervous about going to that thing, and I remember him because it was a very distinct show, right? And I liked it because it was like, this guy's a straight shooter. Like, this guy sounds like how I would talk about wine, you know? Like, and then years later, like maybe 2 years later, it had to have been, he looked a little bit different and he was starting to do like content stuff, I think, like marketing, like out there talking about marketing and content. And I was like, hey, this is the wine guy. Like, I know this guy, or I've seen this guy's stuff before. Now so it was cool. It was neat. It's such a small world, you know. So, you know, you could be one thing and then be another thing. You could remake yourself, you know. First vlog with Casey Neistat. I used to watch all of Casey Neistat stuff. I watched the. I'm a big fan of the Neistat brothers. Van, Neistat, Casey. I like their storytelling. I was a big fan of the Neistat brothers show on HBO. That's when I found the Neistats. And then I was just like, oh man, these guys are cool. I just like their vibe. Allergies are getting me. Oh man. Okay. People start cutting their grass outside where I'm at. That's when it gets me. Bothersome. What color should the comfort zone be? This box. What, if you're listening right now or watching, what color should I make the comfort zone? Oh yeah, man. Back in the YouTube days, Casey was doing the daily thing. I remembered him from the show, and then Gary was doing Daily V with India, and then that was like, those are good times because it was like you always had something to watch. You always knew. Before them was Zay Frank. Do you remember Zay Frank? He was like the first person that, like Zay Frank, and I actually have a poster behind me. The yellow poster on the wall is a Zay Frank poster. He did the show with Zay Frank where he just kind of vibrant purple. Okay. Vibrant purple. Anyone else? Color for this box? We'll try a vibrant purple. Alright. Sorry about the sniffles there. These neighbors cutting their grass. Zay Frank. It's and I don't know if this stuff exists anymore, but Zay Frank. You might know him now for his animal videos. Like he does these funny voiceover videos. Zay. It's probably at Zay Frank. But he did the show with Zay Frank, and it was like a daily show that you popped on. He usually talked about like, oh, I don't know. He talked a lot about world things, politics happening, but like in a funny way. It was like the Daily Show, which was really funny because it was like before the Daily Show, or when the Daily Show was coming out, and people thought, well, the Daily Show writers would watch Zay Frank's show in the morning and then come up with things that Zay just said. Because it was really funny. It was like, it was called The Show with Zay Frank, and then okay, Megan Zen over on YouTube. We're connecting these social things now. We're having the conversation across social, which is interesting. Zen over on YouTube said lavender. It's such a cozy, warm color. Megan said vibrant purple, so we'll kind of try and find it in between. Purple's a comfort, a comfort color. If that's the case, I might change the background so I don't have a lavender sky. I might change it to pink, like a pink sky. Pink skies at night. Sailor's Delight. Anyways, Zay Frank, awesome. He pretty much created the vlogging, the thing that you know as vlogging. Zay Frank created that genre. He was genius. I'm a member of his Patreon right now, I think. He kind of fell into doing those well, not felon, but is successful doing those true facts about the blah blah blah, you know, whatever animal. That's his voice. You can find the show with Zay Frank. He has a great video. Oh, they do exist. Oh man. Oh, if I unplug this, it won't go. But he never blinked. Zay Frank never blinked. That was his thing. Oh, I'm so glad that his stuff is still up. What a great dude. Great video to watch would be called gonna find it. It's like a little commercial. And it's called I don't really feel like that's Zay Frank's channel, by the way. Invocation. So if you like type on Google, this is so good, you're gonna really thank me for this one if you've never seen it. Invocation. Oh man, I can't. Darn it. No. Oh my gosh. Why is it so small? Why is the keyboard so small? Guys. Invocation. This is funny. Invocation. Zay Frank. It's this one. An Invocation for Beginnings. 12 years ago. This is a really cool one. And he talks about the FILDI. The F it, let's do it. Which is kind of very YOLO. You know, YOLO yak, right? Watch that video. It's really good. That'll tell you everything you need to know about Zay. Love that guy. Be nice to get him to do like a guest comic or something. Wow. These allergies are getting me. Love Zay Frank. Come back, Zay. Come back and do the show again, brother. The another cool thing about Zay Frank was he really knew how to build an audience. He was like the first cool little influencer guy that like he had his own little club, like his own little they were called sports racers, and his symbol was a duck. So every morning he'd be like, "Good morning, sports racers," and then he'd go into the fan club was kind of called, you know, his sports racers. And to this day, even though it's ancient now, sports racers are just like, anytime there's a duck or whatever, they'll tag him and they'll say things, and like he's got that like cult following, for better or worse. Maybe he hates it, I don't know, but man, I wish he'd bring it back. It was so good. It got weird, like he was experimental sometimes with some things, but I really enjoyed it. But he definitely was an inspiration for, I mean, if you ask Casey Neistat about Zay Frank, he'll be like, oh man, that guy. Like, Casey gets credit for the daily vlog, but Zay Frank just made it happen by accident. It was one of those like, I'm going to point this camera at myself I'm going to give myself a topic, and I'm just going to talk. And then he also just, really made it into quite a genre. And he did it for a year, and then he stopped, I think. It was like he committed to doing it for 365 days, and then it was over. It was like an art experiment, but that really put him on the map as like a marketer and everything. He became the head of creative, I think, for BuzzFeed, and then he disappeared because he was obviously he was working for BuzzFeed back in the grand days of BuzzFeed, Try Guys and all that stuff. It was probably Zay had so much to do with all that, probably behind the scenes, because BuzzFeed had a vibe of Zay. Yeah, and now he's kind of doing his own thing over there on, the true facts of the animals and stuff. Makes sense. We should get Zay Frank to write a guest comic. I wonder if Gary knows Zay Frank. I want to meet Zay Frank. I'm a fan. He almost, we're talking about Zay Frank now. I was shocked because I'm a member of his Patreon, and he almost died. He was over in Europe, and he had an intestinal problem or something, like a hole in his intestine, and had to get surgery, and he was holed up over there. And yeah, man, we almost lost him. But I think he's doing pretty decent. I see his updates on Patreon again, and oh man, gotta keep this guy healthy. There's still much more to do, Zay. Okay, so she's got, this is definitely someone I drew before. I don't know if I want to be a stickler. I think I can get her color down here. It's like a golden blonde. Yep. I've drawn this character before. She's walking the dog. She was in the Truth strip that we did with the bee, how do you rebuild trust. It's just kind of a character I go back to a little bit. I think her hoodie will be like a light blue. It's good. I don't think the socks have to match. We won't do that. Jumping around now. Whoops. Okay. Where are we at? 2 hours, 24 minutes. Let's keep going a little bit. I need a coffee refill, I think. Sad. I wonder why the Twitch didn't work. Isn't that funny? You get one thing to work and then the other thing doesn't work. Just how it goes. I'm just gonna go with the classic white pillow here. The same color. Alright, great. Oh, that's open. thanks for watching over on Instagram. Someone said, JFlow said, all of this is on an iPad? Yes. iPad Pro. This is a 4th generation iPad Pro, so not one of the brand new ones, but I'm doing Procreate, Apple Pencil, Humble Hedgehog, Pencil Topper. Those little tiny touches, just like a little bit of shadow there. Give her some like different colored pillows. Basically, the comfort zone evolved. We're also gonna go in and color the comfort zone. I feel like it should really be marked. Comfort zone. I'll change this into a really light purple. I like being able to talk to you guys and ask you, like, what color should this be? What color should that be? That's kind of fun. What color should her socks be? I'm going to give her bright pink slippers, I think. So, in a minute. That's fine. I think the debate of comfort zone is very relative, right? I talked a lot about that today, earlier in the stream too, about times I got out of my comfort zone, or maybe you can't afford to leave the comfort zone. Like, this is interesting. Some people might say, like, it's okay to just, it's totally okay to just live your life and build your little comfort zone, and you've done it. You've achieved this place where you can go and enjoy your time. But in this case, in this specific comic, she's also having this moment here at the very beginning where she's saying, hold on a second, let me get out of there, Zay. Get out of my comic, Zay. What are you doing? Shout out, Zay Frank. She's saying, I don't know why I feel like something is missing in my life. And then YOLO's coming in going, yo, I know why. It's a trap. You gotta get out of there. So that's what's up with this text. I turned the text off just because I don't want to, number one, I don't want to give away too much, but I still would give it all away. I don't really care. But number two, I like to get the text out of the way a little bit. We'll just make this pillow. That looks better. Okay. I don't know what happened happened, why that's blue, but I don't mind it. I think it could be like an even brighter blue. Maybe even just change that into like a highlight. Now that I'm touching the top of this couch, might as well throw a highlight on top of that couch. Like that. So another thing I really like about the minis is I can bounce the iPad off, or the pencil off my iPad without damaging it. Now we can get in here and just do a little bit of, let's just finish her up totally. Teabag. Little highlight on the cup. Gotta get a shadow color going here. Blue Oodie or hoodie or whatever it is. What's it called? Like a supersized hoodie. There's some brand name for the giant hoodies. There's a couple different kinds. I bought one as a gift, and it seems like a good gift, but Yellow Yak wouldn't approve. He'd be like, do not give them that giant hoodie, because then they're going to stay in their comfort zone all day. But sometimes it's all right. Sometimes you got to, chill out. You just can't stay in the comfort zone. You can have a comfort zone. You can't get trapped there. That's the... right. Hey, if you're on Instagram, make sure you go like the comic over on our Instagram page. We try to bake these up to 400 likes. That's how we kind of know, is it vibing or not. If you're digging the comics, share them up. Kind of scrolling through the comments. Is this the iPad I'm using to draw? Yes, I'm using an iPad Pro. VDJ, what's up? Leave the socks pink and white like that. It looks chill. Okay. How about we, we'll just make it a little bit different color. Pink. And then I'll take the white and we'll make it like white striped. Like that. Kind of comfy socks. That looks good. I got all kinds of stuff going on outside right now. They're cutting grass, they're mowing the lawn, there's trains flying by, there's birds outside. It's crazy. It's nuts out there, guys. It's wild. I want to be like, hey guys, I'm streaming in here. Keep it down. Keep it down outside. Sweet. Yep, lots of people asking, is this an iPad? Yes, indeed. This is the iPad Pro. I'm zooming way in though. Let's just do an adjustment so people can see the whole iPad. How do I do that? Figure it out. Okay. I'll switch back to the other view. We'll get there. You can also be able to see maybe a little more of my screen up here. Good, good. That's a little bit better. Maybe. Scoot that back a little bit more. Okay. We'll stick with this for the rest of the stream, I think. It's a little more saturated than the actual comic that'll come out. But I think these streams like to just oversaturate things a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. I think we're good with the blue almost. A little bit more. I like to grab 3 tones like a highlight, mid-tone. Just hit the highlight a little bit on a couple wrinkles. I like to do that. Then we'll go to the skin tone color. Same thing, I just drag about 45 degrees down. Some artists have different ways of doing it. That's how I do it. Just because I feel like I get a more natural shade. Some people like, I don't want to say it's cheating, but they just get like a purple brush, they set a layer to multiply, and they just go nuts with like shading and coloring, but that just doesn't seem like it. Just looks a little off to me. To the regular human that's not an artist, it might look totally fine. But to me, I'm like, there's something about that that's off. You know, if you've actually mixed colors or paint, then you know when something looks a little bit generic or something. So I try to keep it real. Cool, cool, cool. Checking my mail real quick. Cool, awesome. Do the same thing with the hair. So I know in the stream it looks really bright, but it's actually more of a golden color when you see it on the Instagram tomorrow. It's more of like a Goldilocks. So I'm gonna give her more of like an orangish shade back here. Shadow in her hair. I've been doing a thing too where I've been changing the color of the noses a little bit just to like a more of like a pinkish. I don't know if we'll do that for her. Yeah, I guess it looks all right. That's fine. That's cute. I think she's got some blue eyes, slate blue eyes. I could, you know, I could noodle with this all day, but I'm trying to just ship it. I will take this, since I know the light's kind of coming, you see a shadow, I'll take this and just darken a little bit of purple, and we'll just throw a different purple in over there on that side of the cube, or the rectangle, just because. That's good. Well, that might have messed it up. Okay. There we go. Messing with the OBS here a little bit. I want you to be able to see the VeeFriends that are sitting on top of my. Right? Okay, that's a cool. I like that. All right, sweet. Hey, thanks all about the gains. What's up on Instagram? This is an iPad Pro. Not the new one. This is an. I probably bought this in 2020. 2021? I don't know. I've had it for a while. It's a 4th generation iPad Pro, 12.9. I just realized that even though I've been drawing on this for years now, and I've got it packed. It is packed full of artwork, guys. I've never used nearly the capacity that's in it because I don't do video on this. It's all just Procreate pretty much. Let's jump over here and just grab the yak. Copy, paste. Oh, copy all. Just gonna bring him over so that I can grab his color palette. Feeling pretty good about this one. I like this strip. So I could just grab, make sure I'm on the right layer. That's great to do. And now we can grab, the brown is on his head and his belly. And that's pretty much where that brown goes. Brown, brown. Pretty much. And then we've got the hair color is pretty much, he only has that hair color on top of his head and his body. His head, body. Oh, I see what's happening. One sec. Gotta bring the rectangles down, or the borders on here, and merge them. I know I'm speaking a whole other language probably, but I'm just talking out loud as I'm working through this. tail's actually darker than that. We'll get there. And then the mane has its own brown. So there's like 4 shades of brown going on Yak. I like to try to stay consistent with the version 2 art when I can. You know, it's a little bit different style, but the version 2, that means the ones that are on the NFTs and the trading cards have a different look than the version 1s. You know? And then the comic strips have their own little, you know, because I need to pull them out of that little tiny thing that they're in, and you know, the Yak's tail is dark brown. Okay, cool. I missed the hair. Whoops. I'm excited for the new iPads. I don't know. You know, I'll probably check them out. I'm more excited about the... See, I got this screen cover that's matte finish screen cover, and some of the new iPads have it kind of built on. It's like a non-glare, but it also kind of makes it feel more like paper, which is what I like about it. Get this nose. The nose is the same colors of the inside of the ear and the nose. Got that. Hair color. Yep. Yeah, thanks for popping in and watching today. I've been live for 2 hours 47 minutes. I'm gonna keep going. I wish I had a magical coffee refill, but I don't. But I'll just take a break in a little bit. In some ways, being locked to the board like this in a live stream makes it so that I don't go procrastinate, or, you know, suddenly be in my yard like walking the dog or something. Like, I don't know, a million other things could pop up where I'm like, oh, I want to check out this idea. No. Draw the comic. There's a thing called Parkinson's law, where time expands to allow the time that you give something. So if you say something's going to take 6 weeks to get a project done, then it'll take 6 weeks to get the project done. If you say you want to do it in a week, you can get it done in a week. And that's the same for anything. It's the same for the comics with me. If I'm like, oh, you know what, I can pace this out. I know how long it'll take me. But instead, you should try to shorten your window of time that you give yourself, because some things don't take as long as you think. It's just the time that you give them expands into what you allotted to it. Parkinson's law. Hey Tom, what's up? I'll see you tonight. I'll be on To the Moon. Is that tonight? Yeah. To the Moon card stream tonight. 9:15 or so. Chatting with Tom, hanging out with some of the VeeFriends. Having some fun. Excited to be, again, it just feels nice to do. I don't know, let me know if you've been watching the streams, if you like this vertical setup better than the widescreen setup, or what do you prefer? I'm curious out there. You know, kind of figured most people watch on mobile. Some of my art friends, they like the widescreen because they like to put it up and like see what I'm doing more, I guess. Let's let me know if you like this vertical setup. More than the others. Curious. Always curious to get your feedback. Let's see what's couldn't get it to work for a long time, and today it worked like magic, you know. Have to do little highlights there. Hey, if you're not familiar with VeeFriends, pop in and out, especially over on TikTok and Instagram, because I know you guys are flying through. We've paused your stream. Just a real quick reset for you. I'd say Frank. That's not what I wanted. VeeFriends.com has everything you'd want to know about VeeFriends. We have the compete and collectible trading card game. You can see those Fanatics live streams that they give away a lot of stuff and sell the cards. Gary's got the first VeeFriends children's book coming out real soon. You can pre-order that now. That should be like real soon, coming out in the summer. You can look at all the characters, by the way. It's over 280 characters created by Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, as you may know him. They all have different soft skills and character traits. Consistent cougar, knowing gnome here, zestful zebra. There's another knowing gnome, respectful raccoon. You can go through alphabetically all the characters and pick the ones you like. Let's just go to H. Let's see what's in the H. Hardworking wombat, honest honeybee. If you click the character, should pop up here in a second. There's actually a little comic corner that'll show you all the comics that they've appeared in, if they've been tagged correctly. And then we have a comic corner up here too. So you can click the comic corner and read all of the comics so far, and including today's comic, which features Amiable Anchovy and Observant Oyster. And all the archives are there since January. So there's tons of comics to read, have fun. It's probably the most important thing. And then we have these minis too. So there's a map here on the website. If you go to minis, click minis. Especially for my artist friends, they ask me like, hey man, where do you get those toppers for your Apple Pencil? And I'm like, well, they're VeeFriends minis. These vending machines are all around the country. I think in almost every state now. There's a map here. You can click find a store near you, and a map will appear and show you all the places that you can get, you know, VeeFriends minis around the country. So pretty cool. You want to collect these now if you can, because once seasons 1 and 2 are done, they're gone forever. You can only get them on eBay or like through a VeeFriend. Seasons 3 and 4 will be coming out. I don't know when, but soon. So these are, you want to get these now. So this is Humble Hedgehog. They come in different varieties. There's like the detailed versions, which is 8. There's only 8% of the detailed versions. 2% of the diamond versions, which I got an aspiring alpaca here. Look, I'm just like plugging the minis. I'm a fan of the minis because, you know, they fit on my pencil. So these ones smell like bubble gum, and they're erasers as well. You can actually use them as erasers if you want. Anyways, I'm drawing the comic strip, but I enjoy the all the VeeFriends stuff that we're doing. Try to reset the stream occasionally to tell you about it. All right. Might as well finish up this YOLO yak here. Appreciate you watching, hanging out just for a minute. Hope you have a good day. Good week. I was joking earlier that I was like, man, I don't even know. I don't really keep track of the days. I just wake up and work, and but I enjoy what I do. So like the days just kind of meld together a little bit, which is cool. Didn't used to be that way, but working at VeeFriends is pretty fun. I don't mention the great community that VeeFriends has too. So like we got a lot of great super fans, super community supporting each other out there. You know, it's a great if you you know I'm not saying like if you have problems like but they all support each other. Like when people are going through surgeries and just life stuff. You know, man, having friends because some people don't have a good circle of folks around them. You know, like it sucks. You could be kind of alone out there. Even when you have people, you can be kind of alone. And the vibe in the community is very supportive. I like that. Even I had some, you know, I don't talk about it much, but I had some personal stuff, like some deaths in the family and stuff like that that happened, and people found out and were like, you know, really concerned, like reaching out, hey, are you okay? And I was like, well, that's really nice. It's a nice thing to have. Because it didn't feel like just like hollow, it felt very genuine in our community, so I like that. VeeFriends is second to none. Sarah Faye said, what's up, Sarah? Forgot her lip color. Let's just go give her like a just you know, little pink lips. Good. It's fine. It's very subtle, but you know, gotta get it right. So now this plant has appeared. Like her comfort zone keeps evolving till it's like an actual couch with a TV and like blankets and good. Yeah, if you have a favorite VeeFriend, let me know. If you're in the community, there's a lot of West Coast people joining right now too. I see. The stream kind of got bumped up a little bit. I started at 8:30 Eastern time, so I've been on for 3 hours now. And you know, I'm doing okay. I need some coffee. It'd be great. I'll have to pre-game that the next time and have like a thermos here. You know. But yeah, if you have a favorite VeeFriend, let me know in one of the chats. Sarah started with Courageous Cockatoo. What did you like about Courageous Cockatoo, Sarah? If you don't mind me asking, what is it about Courageous Cockatoo that you're vibing with? Talking to Gary last week, and I'm like, I'm getting to the point where I'd like to maybe like, it's not that it's not humanly possible I could do it, but just being on stream like all day, drawing comics all day, you could pop in and out, you know. Zen Lotus loves Decisive Duck and Tenacious Turtle. Cool. Sarah said she likes Courageous Cockatoo because she's had to be very courageous in life. That's like the only way to live. You know, it's hard. It can be really hard to be courageous because, yeah, a million reasons. I know a lot of soldiers that came back from, they went away to like war and stuff, not very courageous, and then came back, and like there's just like no, like they're not afraid of anything anymore. Like they've seen some stuff, or they just realize how precious life is, so they just don't mess around. Just get to it. Whatever it is they're doing, business, life. Got a lot of respect for the soldiers out there. A lot of the soldiers I know are like, man, war's just stupid. Like, it's not worth it. But they followed their orders and did what they had to do and disciplined and whatever. But they realized like how precious life is from around the world. Like, that's a cool way of looking at it. Like that. Sarah said, I love birds. I just wanted to be a part of the VeeFriends so bad. Why did you want to be a part of the VeeFriends so bad? Look at me, I'm like quizzing you. When I hear people say that, I'm just excited to have that conversation. Like, you wanted to be a part of VeeFriends so bad. Why? What was it about VeeFriends where you were like, I gotta get in there. I gotta Did it feel like if you didn't have those things, you weren't a part of the community? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, did you feel like you weren't an official member if you didn't have a collectible or something? Like, that's an interesting conversation to have. Oh. I had that interesting journey of experiencing VCon before I even was a part of working at VeeFriends. Um, so Sarah said she didn't know anything about the whole Web3 world, and VeeFriends guided me all the way through it. That's cool. So you feel like you got some good help internally? Like, as I understand it, we had people helping set up the wallets. This was before my time. Um, but there's help. They're very helpful, the VeeFriends staff, and like you said, they are very authentic, extremely. Yeah. Everybody that I really enjoy the team. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody comes from different places and things like that, but I think we all have the same kind of mission. I haven't met anybody that's like, I haven't met anybody that works at VeeFriends that's like, can you believe this BS? Like, everybody's like, really like, how can we make an impact on people's lives in the world? And that's cool. I like that vibe a lot. Because it ain't often that, it's really rare to find that. Of course, we have to make some money and things and keep the lights on, but, I don't think that's a problem really, but that's interesting. I like to talk to the people that actually are in the community and like, there's some slight variations as to why people are involved in VeeFriends, or like why you're excited about VeeFriends, and I like to get those perspectives because it helps me understand the characters better too, like, or understand like when I'm approaching one of the characters, like now I know, like Courageous Cockatoo, like when I'm thinking of that, I'm going to think about you and the conversation that we had, So in a way, by talking about the characters, how you see them, it helps us develop the characters into stronger characters, if that makes sense. I was so shy before VeeFriends. Did you feel like, so that's the courageous part, is that like Like maybe do you feel like before you had, like, I don't know, maybe the vibe of the VeeFriends is like, oh, I could talk to these people, like it's not intimidating, like everybody's kind of open, they're not like jerks. I'm trying to measure my words, like they're not jerks. Like if you know someone's a VeeFriend and they seem pretty open to me, this is just me talking out loud. It's there's quite a bunch of different people that have different businesses and come from different businesses, like backgrounds, and they're all willing to talk. They're willing to share and talk business or like life advice or whatever, physical fitness stuff. I mean, they're all of it, right? Imposter syndrome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, how long am I going to go here? I like getting in these conversations. I'm just going to stay. As long as people are talking to me, I'm going to keep staying. You know. TikTok's kind of died off. Hey, Keith Jacks, Steve over on TikTok. See, you're still hanging out. We're on all the channels now, so. Yoiso, what he said. Last Class Standing. I see that icon, and I don't know what the other one is. I can't make it out on my screen. Looks like a parachute. Thinking. I don't know. I don't know what that one is. You could type what your favorite character is. It'd be good. Also, I'm asking if people like, today's question would be, do you like this format? Do you like the vertical format as opposed to other streams? If you've watched the streams before, do you prefer this vertical format? I can flip through a couple scenes here. There's this one. There's this one. There's this one. There's me. Cheers. Stick with that one. That's really nice, Sarah. That's really nice to hear that you can do public speaking now. And you couldn't do that before. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. For a long time, like, whenever I was like more at home working on comics, and then I got out into Comic Cons a lot. Like when I started, I did 13 years full time at comic books, so I had to be on the road a little bit. And the first couple shows I went to, and I was on some panels, and I felt really imposter syndrome. Like, what am I doing here? Oh man. And then one day I don't know what it was. Someone asked me, like, when did you get comfortable talking to people? And I don't know. I feel like there was this moment where I just said, F it. Like, I'm going to just do it. I'm just going to show up and just be my best. I have a specific memory about that where I was on a panel at a Comic-Con locally in Pittsburgh, and I didn't have any plan. Like, they were like, hey man, can you come up and talk? And I'm like, I don't have any plans. I don't know what to say. No one's going to want to talk to me. And then I guess I just kind of got up there and just riffed. And then I went back to my table, and I was just kind of like doing fan art for people. And that started probably 17 shows worth of in a row of me doing fan art. And talking to fans, like, a Spider-Man fan or Batman or whatever, comic book fan in front of me, some kid, all ages, adults, whatever they were, would be right in front of me talking and telling me about why they liked the characters. And like, it was interesting to have those conversations as my head was down, but I was listening and talking and looking up. And that's what made me good at talking while I work. And then, as far as becoming comfortable, I think you overthink it for public speaking. You overthink it sometimes. You're like, I got to write a speech and memorize what I'm going to say. And like, it starts to be kind of like almost anxiety when I would do that. But now if I just give myself some bullet points, or I know my story, you got to know where you're from and what your purpose is, then it just comes naturally. I can tell my story over and over and over again. I know what it is. And I can access those bits and pieces at any moment. And then that story is always evolving because new experiences happen to me. That's how you grow, But at some point, I just said, I don't really care what anyone thinks. And it was salty, man. It was salty in the comic book industry, Whenever you would get some, I had a little bit of, I wouldn't say fame, pretty humble about it, but when my one book was popping off, there were art friends that I thought were my friends, and then suddenly they were just bitter. I had one guy come up to me and be like, do you know that person doesn't really like you? They said that they just came and said they liked your book, but they just told me what they really think of your art, and I think that's shitty. And I was like, wow, this is really petty. Like, and I remember feeling like a little hurt by that. Like, wow, I trusted that person, what they thought of me, and then finding out what they really thought kind of hurt. But I was like, what am I going to do? Stop drawing comics because this person doesn't like me? Or they're jealous or whatever. And I didn't have empathy at the time, so I didn't really have that empathy where I could be like, what's going on in their life that's causing them to be so envious of me? If they only knew about everything about me, they wouldn't be so envious, Like, it's not a dream, it's a lot of hard work. But at some point I just said, forget it. I think life happens to you, and then you're just, life happens to you, and then you just gotta go like, you know what? These things that I thought mattered, yeah. Sarah said she wanted to be a part of the conversation more than her fears, more than being afraid of it, right? Yeah, the very first time I ever felt any kind of, 15 minutes of like fame or something, like even like, it wasn't very comfortable to me, because as an artist, I'm like more of like, here's my cave that I'm in. And so whenever I first got out into the real world, talking at conventions and being part of the comic scene, I was younger and a little bit more fiery and stupid, but I remember getting invited to this big party in San Diego Comic Con. It was at San Diego Comic Con. It was a rooftop party at San Diego Comic Con, and all these young creators are like excited to be there, and I was just feeling so much anxiety. And I was being like toasted, and it was weird. I just felt really out of place. Like, I was like, ooh, I don't feel this. It didn't feel good. It did not feel good. It felt like, oh man, any minute now they're going to be like, he's an imposter. Who let him in here? It was such a weird feeling. And I actually like did the Irish exit. I think that's what we call it. Like, where you just like zip, like when someone's not looking, you're gone. Like, you're out of the party. You're gone. And I did that out of like total overwhelmed anxiety, thinking like I don't deserve this. You know, like really bad self-talk probably too at the time. You know, but now, you know, I don't have that anymore. And I think it just kind of goes away the more bad things happen to you, the more things happen to your friends and life, and you're just like, you know what, life is too short. YOLO. Let's go for it. Let's take that shot. Let's do that thing, whatever it is. That's when you find yourself listening to people like Gary, and you know, even for me, like Ryan Holiday, Daily Stoic. Yeah. Cool, awesome. All right. Okay, this has been a long stream. 3 hours, 14 minutes. Read this comic tomorrow. Appreciate you watching. I'm going to go get a refill on coffee. Take a little break. It's been good hanging out with you. I hope you stay humble out there. My coffee is empty, so we must go refill that. Come back. We'll do this again on Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'll stay as long as I can on Friday as well. We'll see you soon. Appreciate you watching. That's the end of the stream. Thanks for liking the comics and reading and actually hanging out, chatting today. It's been wonderful. I'll see you soon.